So where are our first steps? Like where do we start?
I mean, some of it is just sitting down with parts and kind of seeing what is love to you. It's about just kind of connecting with your parts, the ones that are available, to broach the topic of love, like how they understand it. Like just a couple of things. Safety. We want to talk about safety first. Like just listening to the parts, especially this topic of love, like you were alluding to, Tammy, can be evocative for certain parts, right? It can really bring up stuff. So just to really pay attention to what's going on in your body reactions, kind of bodily stuff, other stuff that's going on inside. If you're like driving or you're working out or you're doing the laundry or something, it can be good to have like a special space for this. So you might pause it, come back in a bit when you have some time to really focus in on your parts. You want that protected space. I want to just speak out, shout out to all you managers, is that we're not going to do anything without your permission. Okay, we're gonna really honor and respect the roles that you managers have taken, and we only work by permission, and we work collaboratively and cooperatively. So there's no sneakiness, there's no any of that, right? You guys will be on board as much as you want to be. And I'm going to just invite you to take what's helpful. You don't have to do this. And you can, if you find that you're going in a different direction that's more fruitful, feel free to go in that direction. Um, there'll be some silence in this, just so that you can kind of connect more deeply with your parts. I don't want to talk over that. If you need more silence, feel free to pause it, kind of really enter in. It can be helpful to have pencil and paper if you want to write in a parts journal or draw something out. But in that silence, I'm trusting you. I trust that your innermost self has what you need to begin to broach this with your parts. And if you ever do feel, I don't expect this, but if you ever do feel overwhelmed, or if there's some kind of blending going on or something like that, okay, feel free to take that break. Kind of reground yourself, that sort of thing. So there's a lot of freedom here to kind of do that. So yeah. So with that sort of, let's kind of get into it. And I'm going to start with this little word, just a really little word called be. We're just thinking about being with first our managers. We don't have an agenda here to change anybody inside. We don't have some sort of, mission to make any part different than he or she or it is. But to kind of go to that sense of being with, and to parts that feel ready, that feel like it's okay to hear what they believe, what they assume about love. And there could be some surprises here. Just going to invite you, if it feels safe enough, again, to tune into those assumptions. Being loved and loving. What do your parts want you to know about their understanding or their experience of love? If you notice that you're, kind of got any criticism there or any negativity towards parts, that's another part. See if that part can give you some space. And if not, that's okay. Then focus on that part. Might be some roles here around love. Might be some burdens around love in some way. You might focus on just one part, or if it feels okay, to hear from other parts. If your protectors are okay with that, you might start hearing from other parts. Just an invitation here for parts to listen in to other parts' stories about love and how they understood it, how they experienced it or didn't, or the distortions of love, the counterfeits. If parts are open to hearing about other parts' stories with a big open heart, kind of connected with your innermost self, might begin to make more sense why parts feel and think and have the impulses and desires they do. Might happen, might not. It's okay. And is it interesting to parts, this idea that they might be included in the loving? Is it interesting to your parts that there may be ways they can contribute to your loving that no other part can do, and that the innermost self could never do for you? That they're so indispensable. They're absolutely necessary. Every instrument that your parts play is needed in your jazz band. This might be unimaginable to some parts, and if they're having trouble with that, okay, totally get it. But some parts might be able to grip onto the idea that not only can they contribute to the music, but that they might take a solo. They might go improvisational. They might, again, staying with your leader, right? Staying with your innermost self, right? Following the key, staying with the beat. But there may be moments where that part actually takes the lead in a self-led way, because that's what a part of another person needs. Or maybe there's another part within you that needs love from that part. It's not just the innermost self that's going to do the loving. called to love wholeheartedly, with your whole heart. Is that imaginable that other parts of you might be included in that love? Can you protectors, can you imagine that? That a part that maybe you're afraid of or concerned about, that part might one day be able to love as well. Not just be burdened or in an extreme role, but might be free. And is that interesting? Yes, even that part. Yes, it includes that part, actually. The one that might seem so far away from being able to love right now. All of you parts are beautifully and wonderfully made. It can be hard for some parts to see that. I get it. And so I'm going to invite you, your system, to kind of sit down and think about what might be the next right step for you. What might be a good next step in this idea of loving? What might help tolerating being loved? A next step for a particular part. But also, let's not forget about the other side. We don't have to be perfectly ordered to be able to love. What might be a next right step for loving? How might a part of you be more involved in that with your innermost self? We got those 8 C's. If we've got some self-energy, that creativity, that connectedness, that compassion, what might be coming up in there? And maybe there can be something that you all agree that would be a good thing to do. Maybe there's a little commitment there, to say, hey, I'm going to take this next step and see where that leads me, step by step. We don't have to take the whole journey in one great big leap, just step by step. And just want to let you know that my parts are so grateful for the beautiful inner work you do. My parts love meeting their counterparts and other people. They love connecting at a deep level. So I'm grateful for the work you do internally across all my parts. And so, from my parts to your parts, just a lot of love and affection, fondness and appreciation. So thank you.